Well, from day one, when Mum and Dad started, the philosophy was simple farm machinery at affordable prices, and we were always going to deliver a product direct to the farmer's door. So we're now back at the home of Weave Machinery, where all our manufacturing is done in the UK, and we're going to go for a quick tour around and we'll also show the insights of what's going to happen in 2026 with our new office, showroom and parts department. Right, so we're going into production now, and we're going to start in the welding area. We don't have any on-site laser cutters or anything, it's all outsourced. It comes about 30 miles down the road from Birmingham, and it all comes in here, laser cut on pallets. We also have a company that does all our 3D lasering, so we don't really, unless we're prototyping now, we don't cut much box section. It all comes in lasers, so it slots together, the boys weld it, and then it goes through shot blasting into paint, which you'll see. In 2022, we put in a massive automatic shot blaster, which has upped the finish of our product massively. The paint finish is a lot better. Everyone in agriculture has had a problem with paint at one time of their manufacturing life. We've had it, and we wanted to get it better. So later on in the video, I'll show you the shot blaster. It's very impressive, and the finish is very good. And there's some of our competitors that we're very friendly with who put one in since we have, and it's upping production time massively. So each individual welder has their own bay, and then basically all these parts come in from Birmingham, laser cut. They've got CNC benders up there. They'll bend it to the shape we want, and then this is the center of one of our mounted drills, and this will be placed into a jig, tacked together, and then Mark or whoever's welding will weld it together. We like poking material through material. So you can see here, a lot of machines, your tube would end here, and then we would weld round here. We 3D laser this tube, it pokes through this flat plate, and then means we can get more weld round it, so the machine is a lot stronger. We do go a little bit further on thickness of material because we want our machines to be as strong as possible. Another thing we did, we've gone to Sogenic pulse welders, and in the background you might be able to hear that humming. It's a buzzing sound instead of a ripping sound. They're anti-spatter welders, and to get our wastage down in the welding facility, we have also gone to marathon packs of wire. In here, instead of putting a 15 kilo welding cassette of wire into the welder, we're sucking our wire out of here, so we're on 400 kilo packs of wire. And it just gets rid of our wastage, cardboard boxes, reels to chuck away. Customer comes, the people we buy this off, they come, collect it, refill it and bring it back to us. You can see here from here that there's very little splatter around any of the welds. And if there is a little bit, the shot blaster it just normally brushes off, or the shot blaster will just brush it off. We try and use as many small businesses as possible. A family business down the road does all our bushes, so they will make things like our Hardox lower link and top link plates. Another thing, he'll be making the bushes where your rams will go onto the machine, and they'll come in hundreds or 50s, and then the boys will get assigned that to each job as and when they need them. If we just nip over to these crates here on the right, sorry. You take components like this. These come in from the tube laser, and if I had a person sat here with a grinder trying to cut these out all day, he'd probably make about 5 a day. These will be made on a 7-meter bar, and it'll be just fed into the tube laser, and they'll just drop out, and it'll probably do 30 or 40 an hour. and it does all sorts. So it'll do from these bits of tube, doesn't matter what length, what shape, whatever shape the design engineers will do, it will cut out. And then also, these are rocker pivots for a 4.8 meter Sabre. So your main rocker pivot bush will be sat through here, and it will get welded in, and it means that they're the same every time, and it just brings your downtime on making hard components a lot easier. From any clean new machine, you get this oily finish, and everything's of scale in life. But like I said earlier, we had a bit of a paint issue. We used to have a team of guys on grinders who are now on the shop floor, grinding away at this to try and get a rough finish on this machine. And before we had this machine put in, it would probably take 2 people 3/4 of a day to prep 1 drill for paint on 4-inch grinders, getting it clean. And then you've got this scale from the laser, and after 3 or 4 years, this scale would start to lift, and then it would take the paint off with it. So you get a lot of paint chips. So we looked around at getting a hand blaster, a man in a diving suit. Does anyone really want to do that anymore? Probably not. And so we spoke to Cube, and they told us about this machine. They'd only really delivered small ones. Most steel stockholders have them for when you get a primered bit of RSJ, it's fed through one of these, and then it puts on your primer after with some spray nozzles. So what we've got here is we've got 12 turbines running at high speed. We've got a steel shot, like in a shotgun cartridge, and it basically fires at our product we're trying to clean. And basically it takes off all the scale, and then if you looked at it under a microscope, it would look like mountains or the Alps, like a rough finish, ready for our primer to stick to. So what will happen now is Joe will switch the shot blaster on. It would take a good couple of hours for someone by hand to get this done with a grinder. It would be a good finish, but it wouldn't be as good as what's going to come out, and it's going to take about 6 minutes. So it's very quick. So yeah, if you follow me around, we'll have a go. In the background, the shot blaster's running now. It'll take a couple of minutes to come through. But I was just saying that if you take your average car is about 11 microns of paint, and we're trying to average between 140 and 160 when we test it. So it's a lot thicker. Because we're direct selling, we're getting these machines back 10 years old. We want to refurb them, put new wearing parts on them, send them on again to their new home. Paint is very important to us. So that's why we've invested so much into getting this process, and well, every process, but especially this process, really right. Very important. In a minute, you'll see the center of that tine drill come out. You saw it going in, you'll see it coming out, and it's a like rough silver finish. It's beautiful. As you can see, the center of this tine drill is now coming out, and all that oily scale and all the scale around the weld has all disappeared. We do get a little bit of steel shot in some of the holes. The boys suck that out with a hoover. But as you can see, like I said, it is like polished silver. That is the finish we want for prepping, ready for adding primer when we go on to the next stage. Even the likes of our big GD tanks, like a grain invert tank there that holds 3.5 ton of seed, even that goes through it. Some of the big tanks we have to flip upside down. If we get a used machine in that's got poor paint and we feel it's needed to go back out on its next journey to be refurbed, it will go through. We'll strip the wings down and put them through the blaster. Especially if they've come off an area of the country it's very stony, you get a lot of stone chips. And this is why we've gone to this paint, because we're trying to get that a lot better. We're quite a compact site. We've put a lot of investment in over the last 10 years. We were actually predominantly importing our drills until about 2010. or 2009, Dad started bringing direct drills in from the States in the 90s. Unfortunately, that company got sold, which stopped us from selling them. So Dad started on the journey of making what used to be called the big disc drill, which then got superseded by the GD drill, which we got helped develop with a farmer in Lincolnshire. And then we have gang people working in here. You can see on the right there's a 10 or 11-year-old weaving time drill that's come in and as a trade-in for a new Sabre yesterday. That's being refurbed and that's actually going back out to a customer next week. We've got a brand new Sabre here. This machine here is pretty full spec, like we saw out in the field, but it's also got the Avadex applicator on it as well. So yeah, that's a new 6 meter or 6.4 even Sabre. There's a new coming in 2026 is pressurized front tanks, and it's a big front tank. It's a 3,200 litre capacity front tank. That's going out prototyping next week, so that's being put together in the factory. Try and make life as easy as possible for all the lads. So they've got overhead gantries, cranes to assist with any lifting they need to do. And then one of the biggest Sabres in the family behind us here, or in front of us, is a 8 meter mounted Sabre toolbar. So this will be coupled up to a front tank, and when there's not many people on the market that make mounted machines over 8 meters. Yeah, mounted 8 meter, yeah. We have done a 9 meter as a special build for a customer mounted. There are mounted wider disc drills, but not time drills. So yeah, that Sabre will be going out to work next week. Just trying to keep up with the autumn this year. Obviously, we've had a very wet last autumn and the autumn before. This year has gone the polar opposite. It's very dry. Harvest was early, drilling is early. So we're just falling a little bit behind on deliveries, but the team are working as hard as possible to catch up as best they can. We've been building front tanks for a long time. We started out just with Accord type metering unit. People want to drill faster, wider. So the new front tank, we just use a weaving cassette like you saw on the Sabre Tine earlier. But this is pre-production prototype. It's going out to one of our very big and very loyal customers in Huntingdon in Cambridgeshire. So it's a cassette metering unit system. We've made it, this is your all-seed rate cassette, and then you've got a weak cassette here. Save having to take the motor apart, we just slide it in from the other side and it just clips in. So we've had all these made. So hopefully by tomorrow night the boys will have all this put together. And also it is 3,200 litres, so it is bigger than most of the ones on the market, because bigger tractors, wider drills, putting on more seed rate, they want to be able to go further distance without having to fill up all day long. So this will be very snazzy when it's done tomorrow. These designs only come from customer feedback. Now this Generation 2 Sabre was launched in 2019, and this came from the people who had the Generation 1 Sabre Tine, and they gave us feedback and we basically did what they asked. They wanted more trash flow. They wanted 4 rows instead of 3. They wanted better contour following. They wanted easier to calibrate, things like that. Another thing that's become very popular is applicators. Applicators, whether it's what we call our Avadex applicator, which you can put Avadex through broadcast out the back, or you can put slug pellets through it, or companion crops or cover crops. You can also turn these round and spray it into the machine, so then the harrows pull it in. And then we do a single outlet feed applicator, but we make a big song and dance about making it neat. Most people just sling them on the back of the drill and it looks a bit homemade, but we make this as neat as possible to get on the back of the machine. We also use Stocks applicators, which we've tried most on the market, and Stocks also integrates with our control system, which is RDS Topcon, so it all works in very, very well. Last year, being a bit finicky, we wanted to make it look better. They used to be white hoppers, now we have grey, so it matches our lovely weaving grey hopper. So it all just comes together. It's a great bit of kit, it's easy to use, it's cheap to run, it'll work in the wet or the dry, and it's pretty much bomb-proof really. One thing I didn't say out in the field on show stands, when we're on show stands, we got asked a lot. We supply this rubber exhaust to a lot of other manufacturers as well, but the Sabre leg itself is 12mm wide. It's made out of high carbon, it's made out of cast chromium, and then it's also got tungsten, two tungsten tiles down the front of it. And then we use an adjustable stainless steel seed tube, so it's harder wearing. The seed boot itself, we blow the air to the top of the coulter, we let 50% of the air out, so then the seed free falls into the slot and stops it bouncing back out the slot. And then our zigzag following harrows at the back just cover it back over to leave a nice level finish. I know it was a bit knobbier out in the field earlier, but that's after grass. It's always going to come up a bit rooty and a bit bally, but it's done a good job, and they will roll it after they finish drilling. They are all isobus ready. We also now use a pressure switch. So a pressure switch, standard, the machines come with a top link switch, but if you want, you can run it on a pressure switch. So instead of when you lift up on the headlands, turning the seed on and off, it hits the switch, you can use another spool on your tractor. So while the drill's in the ground, you can turn the seed off, then it will lift the drill so you don't get any seed spillage. And when you go into work, it will turn the seed on and then drop the drill. So it's a lot quicker. This is our warehouse. We try and use as many local suppliers within a radius of a factory as we can. Obviously there's certain components we can't get made in the UK, tyres, axles, things like that. So we bring them in from France or wherever we buy them from. We've got this big white box here. It's got about 80 tons of spare parts in it, small component parts. There's nothing worse than a small door catch or something like that stopping a very expensive machine going out. So basically 750 kilos of weight per tray. You've got all the trays in here in the front and on the back. You go onto the screen on here, you tap in what part you want and it brings the part to you. So it's very simple, and it does stock control as best it can as well. As we go into the warehouse, I don't 100% know, but we'll probably easily build 100 machines out of what's laid out in here. So not all of our product is painted on site. So finicky little brackets and things like Sabre toolbox doors will come in from the laser cutters in Birmingham, but it will come in pre-painted. Sabre metering unit holders, they'll come in pre-painted as well, and things like that. Sabre leg brackets are made in Leicestershire for us on a robot laser. They also make our GD coulters on a robot laser. We've also gone to these very strong rubbers on the Sabre coulters, so you have 4 of these per coulter, and they're very springy, so it gives a bit of shock to the leg, and it also self-resets, so a lot better. PDI is final checks, where machines get checked before they go off to their new homes and loaded on to our lovely weaving lorries. We don't just do new stuff, obviously we do used stuff. There's a used 6-metre Coombe power harrow being refurbed before it goes out to its new home. And then predominantly it's all the seed drills done in here, new and used. So used seed drills, if they need a lot of work, they'll go down into a part of the shop floor and be done, and then come up here for final checks. This is the Lynx drill, so this is the little sister to the Sabre. So this is waiting final inspection, stickering, polishing before it goes on one of our lorries. That is a used front tank that's going out to a customer. GD drill, 6-metre grain and fertiliser GD drill. That's our big disc drill with 2 hoppers. No, it's even got 3 hoppers on it. So it's got a small small hopper on the front. Uses the same metering unit as the Sabre. We try and use all that sort of stuff across the board of all our products, but it's got some quite clever features on it now. So we've got automatic coulter pressure. So we've got 2 slave cylinders on the front, put all the coulters down to 50 mil. So you've got 50 mil in, 50 mil out for coulter travel. We've also got automatic pressure control, which is very unique on a trail disc drill. So say you've got clay at one end of the field and sandy or lighter soil at the other end, it will automatically adjust the back wheels, taking more or less weight off the coulters. So we get good consistency, depth, seed to soil contact and slot closure. Oil cooler, we put an oil cooler as standard on the trail drills. That cools the back end oil of the tractor, so you use less fuel. The heat then sucked off the oil cooler is sucked into the fan. We blow hot air down the pipes, so it stops fertilizer sticking in the pipes if you haven't got as good a quality fertilizer as you should have. This is quite a unique product. This product has been sold by us, or started by Dad, for probably nearly 30 years. It is a concrete mixer. It's a mounted concrete mixer. It takes about 4.5 minutes to mix. It's made out of Hardox. This is the generation 2. This was new for last year. They updated it after years and years. It's made in Austria by a company called Mammut. It is the best concrete mixer on the market by far. And we have not just sold them for concrete. We have sold them for mixing wheat and lavender to put in lovely bags to go around your neck. We have sold them to a man in Ireland for cleaning golf balls on a golf course. We have sold them for pheasant food, for sheep feed. And they are a great, great product. And it's been very, very good to us. And some of my biggest drill sales I have ever done started out by selling the customer a good old concrete mixer. How about that? Mum and Dad started on this site in 1983. Started out as second-hand machinery dealer, going around farm sales, Cambridge machinery sale, buying, selling, refurbing farm equipment, which we still buy machines out of farm sales today, refurb our own branded equipment and sell on. But this was predominantly a farmyard when they first came here. Our old offices that were here until the start of this year was an ex-cold store for putting vegetables in. That's come down, and what you see here is what's going to be our new training centre, office, showroom, parts department for customers to come any day of the week, look at a machine, see it being made and see how we do it. So it's still a bit of a building site at the moment, but what we're going to be doing is we'll be entertaining customers. We're going to have our products, seed drills, cultivation equipment, flail mowers laid out in here from spring 2026. Upstairs we're going to have accounts, design team, training facility for training customers from the UK and around the world so they can come and visit, and then a sales office and a new parts department. Because we deal direct, we send all our parts direct from here as and when customers ring up for them. So there's an automatic parts stacking system going in this building as well, which will be pretty fun. We don't want to lose what we had in our old office. It was very sort of open plan, if you like. Customers used to just wander in, say they were looking at buying a machine, we'd show them. So we're going to keep that going. So this is going to be the sales office for the sales team. We're going to have a kitchen in here, and for sitting down, talking to customers, and then making sure they're buying the right bit of kit. As we'll just nip upstairs quickly. So as we go upstairs, up here is where the clever people will be, as in the accounts department, design engineers who work round the clock for us, designing new ideas. It's just going to be a lot better working environment. There's a big canteen going downstairs for the staff as well, for them to have quiet time when they're not on the shop floor. And then as you come out of here, this will be a big corridor down here. As you come out here, you'll see an overview of how all the kit's going to be laid out going forward. So it will be a big change for us, but as a family and as a business, we feel we need it to get our export up, entertaining clients, showing how they're used. Lastly, we're out in the yard where machines will be either waiting to be delivered or waiting for refurb. Some of these are trade-ins. 2 GDs up there waiting to 2 8-metre trail GDs up there are waiting to go for export. I've said it before, but we deal direct. The price you see is the price you pay, less any trade-ins. But we also do our own transport. We have our own lorries. That's the one that goes to Europe nearly every week. And then we have 2 also running in the UK, delivering machines to farms and collecting machines from farms as trade-ins and dropping them to, if it's not our own brand, we might sell it into the trade to one of the used machinery dealers. We also import AgriMaster from Italy, which we've done for 30 years, which is a great flail mower brand made in Monello in Italy. Very robust, very strong, great value for money. And like we said inside, I showed you the famous concrete mixer. That's made in Austria, and we've sold that for a long time. These are used time drills that have come back in as trade-ins, and they will be off on their next journey, and we'll probably see them back again in another 5 or 10 years' time. A few second-hand GDs waiting for refurb or sold, and then there's another one of our Fendt tractors that we have as a demo machine to go on doing our on-farm demos. It's very important we do on-farm demos. It's something we've done for a long time, drive around the country on tractors demonstrating, because farmers want to see how our machines perform on their own ground. It's all right going to a show and seeing something, but unless they put it on their own ground, in their own soil, in the conditions that they would like to drill in, it won't fully convince them that it's the right machine for them, and that's why we do it. Well, from day one, when Mum and Dad started, the philosophy was simple farm machinery at affordable prices, and we were always going to deliver a product direct to the farmer's door. And we feel, as a business and as a family, dealing direct, you're talking to the horse's mouth. We spec the right machine for you. We very, very rarely get it wrong. All right, sometimes we might get it wrong and customer might ride the wrong machine, but we sort it out. And our prices are on our website. Like I said, the price you see is the price you pay, less any trade-ins. We're always open to value machines for you, and come and do a on-farm demonstration. But I think in the next 5 or 6 years, you'll see a lot more prices on the web, and a lot more dealing direct, because we've got our own service team on the road. Mike, Scott, Tom, Ed, they go out, they fix your machine, or they set your machine going up in the field. You can talk to them day in, day out, and that is a part of the circle that we run in. You order the machine, you buy it off the people that know, we manufacture it, we deliver it to your door with our own transport, and we look after it. And also, going forward, if you ever want to sell it for a new one, we buy it back, refurb it, and sell it on again. And just touching on that as well, with agriculture, we're looking forward to going to cereals in 2026 at Clarkson's farm, Diddiscourt. And obviously Jeremy's and Caleb and Charlie and all the team have done a massive amount for UK and worldwide agriculture over the last 5 years, and they will continue to. We know it's tough at the moment. Even us as direct sellers are finding it tougher than usual years, but we've had some very good years the last 3 or 4 years. But I'm a great believer that it will get better. People have still got to eat at the end of the day. I think farms will get bigger. There's a lot of land coming up for sale or rent round here. Farms will get bigger, and the people that really want to do it and kick on, like the farm we were at earlier, the Ike family, they are probably one of the most determined family farms I know. And yeah, we can all moan about it every day of the week, and I hear it on the phone a lot. I'm taking calls day in, day out, listening to customers and selling machines to customers. But I think it will get better, hopefully. And if I don't see you before, I'll see you at Cereals in 2026.